You're here to learn about how to measure your Black Friday campaigns, or actually any marketing campaign that you've got. And that's what we're going to cover in this session. Like anything, the first thing that you need to measure in your Google Analytics, the first thing you need to do so that you can measure a campaign for Black Friday is set some goals. Without goals, you won't know if you're winning. Without goals, imagine a footballer without goals. They're just wandering around the pitch, kicking the ball around, and nobody wins. Nobody wins because they've got no goals. So that's the first thing. You may not have done that, I know, because there's a whole lot of stuff that you need to set up for Black Friday, but have you set goals? How much do you actually need to sell? Now, that's the non-technical bit. The technical bit is once you've set your goals, how do you measure them? Well, you need to make sure that you've got what used to be called goals in Universal Analytics. Now they're called key events in Google Analytics 4. You need to make sure you have those set up so that you can see if you are meeting those goals. How do you find out? Let's go into the demo screen now. So we're in my Google Analytics account. Do you have key events set up? Now, there's a good chance if you're e-commerce that your e-commerce tool is sending tracking stuff over to you. If it's not, you need to make sure that you've got your analytics code installed on that. So I know the likes of Thrivecart, if you're a service-based business, you know, there is a process you need to go through to make sure that's sending data back into your Google Analytics account. I use PayHip for my courses. You know, I need to make sure that I've got analytics installed in that so it can send back whenever I sell anything. So that's the first thing you need to make sure. And then you need to go and look at your events. So down at the bottom left-hand side of the screen there, you can see there's this little wheel. And if we click on that, that brings you into your admin panel. And from your admin panel, there's two things we want to look at. First is events and second is key events. So the way that Google Analytics 4 works is it sends an event every time somebody does something on your website. So when they view a page on your website, it will send a page view event. When they scroll a page on your website, it sends a scroll event. When they click something, it sends a click event. All of those are pieces that it sends to you. So if we click into events, we will see those standard events, but also we should see some events coming in that either you've set up or that are coming in from your e-commerce platform. So for me, you'll find that purchase is going to be there if I keep going. It's there automatically, but that connects into PayHip. So PayHip can send information every time somebody buys a course from me. So just have a look through and you can see here I've got some custom events done for you scroll. For example, if you were watching the analytics show in October, I showed you how to do that. We can see that that's set up. There's a few that I've actually set up myself and some standard ones. Key events then are ones that you will have marked as being important to your business. These could be things like a purchase, but it could also be that they've downloaded a lead magnet or they've joined your email list. Business goals that you want. So they will be checked on here with this. You'll see they're kind of blue. We can look at more. We've got all my events there. If I go into the key events, this is what you want to make sure you've set up so you can measure properly your campaign. So you want to make sure that your purchase is triggering. So if I just go onto the second page, we should be able to see that and we can see, yep, that's triggering. There's a whole lot of others you can see I've set up here. Some of them haven't triggered for a long time. But you just need to make sure all of that is set up so that when somebody takes the action you want them to, you are measuring it. You'll find more information on setting up key events in last month's that analytics show, which is on the blog on my website. So if that's something you want to do, if you want to set up something more complex, you'll always find that information online, or you can drop me an email and I can refer you to some resources. So just to make sure before you even start that you've actually got something on your website that tells analytics that that goal has been achieved. Are you reaching the right people? When you start your campaign, it's all very well that you're driving a lot of people maybe to your page, your sales page, but unless they're the right people, they're not going to buy from you. And Google Analytics can tell us a little bit about the people who are visiting us. What it can tell us pretty accurately, not 100% accurately, nothing is 100% accurate, but it can tell us pretty accurately what country people come from, sometimes what region people come from, depending the size of your country. So if you're in the United States, for example, huge population, it's pretty good. You can even get down into the town. It's a little bit different here in Ireland because we're a small country. Often I live in County Kildare. Often my IP address looks like it's in Limerick or Galway or another town, so it doesn't work so well here. The second thing it's really good at is knowing what language people are speaking. So I'm just going to go for country in this case because it's very easy for me to identify if people from my target market, which is most of Europe, but let's just narrow it down to the United States, the United Kingdom and Ireland for now, just for the case of this demo. I want to know, are they visiting the sales pages for whatever I'm doing? Here's a heads up, I'm not actually selling anything for Black Friday, so I'm just going to show you Analytics Day as an example. So let's go back into my demo screen. And here we go. What do I want to do? I want to look at my reports and I want to see if the people who are visiting my sales page are actually from the country that are most likely to buy from me. And like I say, for the example of this, I'm really just looking for Ireland, United Kingdom and United States. So down here, I'm going into, I've got the life cycle report. If you've got the business goals or something it's called report, it will be in a slightly different position, but you'll still find it. Your pages and screens report. And I'm actually, just because Analytics Day was a while ago, I'm going to change the time scale to 12 months and click apply. So this basically shows me in order for the number of views, the pages that have been viewed the most on my website. And I'm interested in Analytics Day. So I'm going to type in, because I know the URL, the page path. Page path, by the way, is just basically everything after your URL /. So, you know, if you've got a blog, the page path for that would be, in my case, /blog without the spiderworking.com bit. So I know that Analytics Day / is the page path for my main Analytics Day page. So I'm going to hit enter on that. And this is going to temporarily narrow down this report to just that sales page. For you, it would be your Black Friday sales page, for example. So now, how do I know? I can see the number of people who visited it. I can see the number of active users, the views, the active users. I can see all this stuff, but I can't actually see what country they came from. So to do that, I need to add a secondary dimension. So I'm just clicking on the plus button here. And I'm going to start typing in country. You could go for, depending on how much traffic you have, it's really inaccurate, this stuff, and it only has a small amount of data, but you can go for gender or age group if you're interested in that as well. Just be aware that it doesn't know much information for people's gender or age group. So I'm going to go for country. And now I can see that where the people have come to this website, this web page, my sales page for Analytics Day, where have they come from? And I can see, luckily for me, right? Because what did I say? My 3 top target countries were going to be, for this example, United Kingdom, United States and Ireland. So I'm winning. That means that actually I am driving the right people to the page. If you wanted to choose a different demographic, you can just go in here and you could choose... let's go for gender, just because I can show you how inaccurate it is. So you can see the majority is unknown, but there is a massive split towards females for this particular audience as well, which is interesting. So that's the first thing. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to see this before you start your campaign up, but you can look at this afterwards. And you can even customize a report so it just shows you this information whenever you look at it. So far, we know what your goals are. What are your goals for your campaign? And we've looked at how you'll be able to find out if the right people are actually visiting the sales pages for your campaign. What if you want to see which part of your marketing campaign for Black Friday is driving the best results? So maybe you're running ads, maybe you're putting posts out organically on all your socials, maybe you're using email marketing, maybe you're even using SMS marketing. How can you see which one of those is most effective? And actually, how can you see which part of those is most effective? So for example, if you're on Instagram How do you know if it's the link in your bio, the links that you're putting in your stories, or your ads that's driving the most traffic from Instagram? The answer is UTM tracking. And you know what? I hate the term UTM tracking because I think it scares people. So let's just take the UTM off the front and say we need to create tracking links. And that can tell Google Analytics exactly where you posted a link, when you posted a link, and the results you got from it. The best way to describe what a tracking link is to think of it as if it's a piece of mail. When somebody clicks a link on your website, it's like a piece of mail coming into your letterbox. So obviously it comes to your letterbox because the address is written on the front. So that's the equivalent of your website link, the address on the front of your envelope. You're not going to know who that came from, where it came from. You just know that you've got a letter in your letterbox until you open it, unless you have a sender address on it. If somebody puts it either on the front or the back that this is the sender, then you know where that letter came from. And that's basically what you do with a tracking link. You're putting a sender address at the end of the link. So let's look at how that would work. Within a link, there's three main elements. Firstly, the source, and this refers to the exact website that it came from. So think of the source like your street name. So the source is, in this case, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever referring website it comes from. Then there's the medium. Think of medium as the town that you live in. If source is the street, medium is the town. So all those streets belong in a larger group, which in this case would be social for social media, referral, email. There's a whole bunch of them that could be your medium. Thirdly, your campaign. So your campaign is like your house name. It's not the number, it's a house name because you've come up with it yourself. And that's your own identifier. It can be anything you want it to be, so that it can tell you exactly which part of your marketing this particular link is coming from. So campaign is your house name, source is your street, medium is your town. And you can see the link underneath there. It looks kind of complicated, but don't worry about that because I'm going to show you an easy way to create it in a moment. But for this, we're going to use one more UTM parameter. We're going to use content. And the reason I want to do that is because you want to group everything from this campaign together into one big chunk. So in this case, we're going to go for Black Friday. Black Price Friday is going to be the content. And if it was an Easter sale, it would be Easter plus sale. If it was special offer, special plus offer, that would be your content. And you'll see how we're going to use that when I show you how to customize a report for that. It looks like it's going to be complicated to create, but you can see the link on screen now. I have actually created something that you can download. It's a Google sheet, so you'll need to be logged into your Google account. You can make a copy of this. You're going to get prompted if you go there to get a copy of this. And this is a link maker. So basically we've got a list of mediums down here. So most of what I do is social. So we've got a lot of social there. We've got all the various social channels. You can change these to be whatever you need them to be. So you know, if you're not using TikTok, you can ignore that one. If there's another, if you're using something like Blue Sky, you can put that in instead. And then we've got the sources. Then we've got the campaigns. And for the campaigns, I tend to use a campaign structure, which is I would put in what part of that particular network I'm putting it on. So in this case, on Facebook, it's a story, and then I'll put in the date that I'm posting it. So that can tell me which day of the week, for example, or which time of the month is best for me to post. And then for content, you can see I've made it consistent down there, Black Friday. So how does this work? I've kind of put a link in here. You can see I put in a link, but I'm going to copy that and delete it for now. So it's completely blank. You go and get the link to your website. So let's just go to my website. Very, very slow because I'm doing so many things. And let's just go to my Done For You service. This is a great way to advertise what I do. I'm going to grab that link and then I'm going to paste it into the URL section. And you can see as soon as I do that, it has created my tracking link for me. So let's just copy that and paste it in and see where that brings me. So you can see the page is exactly the same. It's just sending that sender address alongside it, and that will appear in my Google Analytics so I can measure it. A neat little trick as well is if I wanted to post in all these places and I had all my campaign names put in, I can just double click and it will fill out the whole thing. So now if I need to go and grab the link for YouTube, for example, I can just go over and grab that and it will have all the information for YouTube in there. How can you get a report that just shows you the results from those Black Friday campaigns? You can customize a report in Google Analytics just for that. So that's what I'm going to show you in our demo account here, or it's my actual real account, but in my demo that I'm showing you. If I go into reports here, and if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, we've got library will appear here. And when I go into the library, I'm going to create a new custom report. So create new report, create detail report. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a customized user acquisition report. So this is basically, if you look at the standard report for this, which we'll see in a second, this tells you where the traffic is coming from to your website, but not precisely like we can with those UTM links. So sometimes it will know that traffic's coming from Facebook or Instagram, sometimes it won't. So this is really a way that we can make sure we understand that more of the traffic is coming from those channels and which part of those channels and what date we posted it, and that it's been a part of our Black Friday campaign. And the reason that I'm using user acquisition rather than traffic acquisition here is because what I'm going to do doesn't work for some reason in the traffic acquisition report. So here we go into the template for user acquisition. And as we can see, you can see this isn't any of those parts of our UTM link. This is what they call a primary channel group, which is above. So instead of the town, which is your medium, the default channel group is the country that you're living in. And that's not going to be good for us to really nail which one of our Black Friday campaigns are working. So if I come in here and change that to campaign, because you'll remember we've got our UTM campaign links. Okay, so we can see all the various different campaigns that I've run. These are all the campaign names from the UTM links that I have been using. And they do all mean something to me, believe it or not. So we're going to add a secondary dimension, just like we did when we were looking to see which country the visitors to our website came from. So if I click on the plus button, and this time I'm going to go for source medium. So there we go. We're in a user report, so we want it to be a first user, source medium. So this tells us the first time that this user came to our website, where did they come from? And this is fine, but we can see there's lots of stuff in here that's not interesting to us. We've got I'm interested in HeroClick because that's my own, but there's a whole lot of stuff that isn't interesting. So now I want to narrow down this report so it just tells us about those Black Friday campaigns. And to do that, we've got report filter on the right hand side. Click onto that, select dimension, and remember this was the content element of our UTM tracking link. And weirdly, this comes up as first user. We're going for user again because this is a user report. First user manual add content. That is what you're looking for. And then select match type. We're going for exactly matches. Value. Analytics Day 2024. I'm actually just going to go for contains instead because I know there's two Analytics Day. So the beauty of setting that up in advance and getting it right is you'll easily get results for everything. We're going to click apply. So now we're seeing all the campaigns, all the ones that I've set up that tracking link for that fit into my Analytics Day campaign. And this is where you really get, so I can see that this LinkedIn post that I posted on the 7th of June drove the most users for that campaign. And also I can see that I did a live stream that drove 10 users. So that was the second thing. So this starts telling me what's working. What was the LinkedIn is obviously working really well for me because a lot of them here are LinkedIn posts. Whereas things like Instagram, not so much. And this was Facebook. This is a group that I'm in on Facebook and another group I'm in on Facebook. So straight away, this tells me that next time I run a campaign, LinkedIn is the place to do it. It's not a surprise to me because that's where I am most of the time, but it's good to know that that's working. Also, it's good to know that my live streams are working. People are clicking from my live streams, which is also good news. So that's how, in your case, you would filter for Black Friday because you've set up your UTMs right. You will see this report that can tell you exactly what's working. For me, that is gold. We've customized this report so that we can see all the results from Black Friday, but we haven't changed any of these elements here. So these are what were the metrics. These are the important metrics that you would want to know. And actually all the useful information is at the end. So we can see we've got your key events and your key event rate. It'd be nice to have revenue on the end there as well. I'd like to see those at the beginning, and I'd also like to see engagement metrics. So if I click on metrics here, I can move these around. So I can move my key events up, my key event rate up. So the key events, remember, that's what we set up at the beginning. That's the stuff that will tell you, are you meeting your business goals? I'd also like to add in revenue because that's important for your Black Friday campaigns. So purchase revenue, I'm going to go for and move that up. And also then, it's not always just about the sale. It's knowing whether people are actually spending time on your site. It's about knowing, are people engaging with content on your site, or are they just clicking and leaving? Because if you're not getting the results you want, then that could be what you actually need to know. It's that people aren't scrolling your page, so it's not compelling enough. People aren't spending any time on your page, so maybe it's not the message. The messaging is wrong. So let's add those metrics in as well. So I'm going to get rid, average engagement time is one of those. How long are they spending? We also want to know engagement rate. So this is the number of people who visit your website and actually engage with it, as in they will scroll, they will spend 10 seconds or more on your site, they will go and visit more than one page, or they'll trigger a key event. So that's a really good one. I like scroll as well because that shows me, have people actually made it to the bottom of the page? A scroll in Google Analytics is 90% of your page. So you know if they've done that, that's good. So if I apply that now, we can see we're getting all the metrics we're interested in at the top. So user key event rate, purchase revenue, engagement rate, average engagement time. And again, LinkedIn winning. Oh, but here we go. One from Instagram. Average time is 1 minute 26. So I won't give up on Instagram just yet, but LinkedIn is definitely winning in this case.